Hello, my friends. Welcome back. Hope you're having an amazing time. And today, I want to talk to you about sex. So, let's gather and let's talk about this quite controversial but quite desired topic. So one of the things that I'm doing is I'm guiding practices and I'm working with people specifically on the sexual energy, right? So I work with women a lot. I guide different practices for women that allow them to relax and connect to their body deeper, to let go of different stereotypes, to let go of some false pictures that they have about themselves or about their body with the insecurities and etc. So that's why I receive a lot of questions about sex. Not to mention that a lot of people are also for some reason very much interested in my own personal sexual life. So I decided to make a video and talk about sex today, right? So the first point that I wanted to mention is that sex does not start in the bed, right? It does not start the moment you took your clothes off and jump in the bed. No, sex is a very sensual and it's a very deep healing process. And to be honest, in my opinion, it starts way before you start to actually interact with other people, right? So I believe that everything starts from the within, right? And then once we have a certain base, a certain feeling inside of us, then we can share it with people, right? So one of the most important aspects is that sex is always a space where people are equal. So they come together in order to give and in order to receive, both at the same time. So it's not like, it doesn't have to be fair, it doesn't have to be there is no right way, but there is a certain harmony in which people are coexisting and co-creating, because sex is a very creative, sensual and very deep healing process, as I said already. And I think this is where most people experience issue, because they see sex as an opportunity to compensate something that they're lacking in their life, right? So they see sex as a battlefield or as a place for competing, for a competition, for a fight, for achievements even. They're collecting trophies and etc, etc, etc. But in the end, there is always this feeling of emptiness and feeling that something is not quite working out, right? And in order for it to actually work out, it's important to get centered and honest with yourself first, because without having this sense of deep love towards yourself, sense of deep love towards your body, we cannot give it to others. We can fuck easily, and that's what a lot of people do, they just go from one partner to another, like spend one night there, and etc, etc, etc. But there is not so often this really, really deep synchrony between two people or between multiple people, doesn't matter, because in order to have it, it's important to cultivate it within yourself. It's important to see your own body as the most beautiful piece of art. You know, I talk very often to women and to men as well, and there is always this difficulty with switching off this critical part of our mind, you know, this judgmental comparing aspect of us, right? But please, when you go into a sexual experience, try as much as you can to just let go of it and see yourself and your body as the most beautiful, the most perfect piece of art. And then you'll be able to see the body of your partner as the most beautiful piece of art. Like there are no flaws, there is nothing that is wrong with them, there is nothing that is wrong with you, there is nothing that could have been better, or there is nothing that could have been worse in that moment when you're going into this experience with an open heart. Of course, it's always important to have a healthy communication, and sex is not something that is avoiding this kind of rule of communication. No, it's important to have a communication, but during the process, try to let go of what you think that is right, you know, what you think that is good, what you think that is bad, and etc. Just try to see yourself. Try to see yourself, try to give yourself this feeling of being seen, of being loved, of being respected, and then you can give it to another person through your touch, through your sight, through your voice, and through your body language, basically, right? And I believe that it applies onto any kind of sex, because for example, even in hardcore BDSM, it's important to translate this deep feeling of love and respect towards your partner. Even if you're dominating this person, even if you're walking this person on the leash around the corner like of your house, doesn't matter, you know, it's still important to have this deep sense of respect and love, because otherwise you're compensating something in your life, and that is never really a way out, because it's the same way as using drugs. You know, drugs will never give you something that you're compensating, that you're trying to compensate in your life. They will never be a proper solution. Same as sex will never be a proper solution. I've seen a lot of cases when people went into BDSM when they actually should have went into therapy, to be honest, you know, because when you're putting yourself in a situation of being submissive or being dominant, it's important to be psychologically healthy and stable, you know, because otherwise there are consequences, and consequences are not something that people like to deal with very often. You know, people like to have the experience itself, but consequences is not, it's not something that people like a lot. Yeah, so these are the most important aspects, I believe, is to have this sense of love and respect towards yourself, compassion towards yourself, that you can share with other person when you're having sex, when you're having this intimate experience, you know, when you're having this bonding experience literally, because otherwise it will not work. And if you still see sex as something as an achievement, right, as a way to prove yourself, as a way to be cool or whatever, then unfortunately you will never even see 1% of what sex can actually be, of what kind of joy my phone started falling, excuse me, of what kind of joy and pleasure and love and vulnerability you can experience. Vulnerability, by the way, is another important aspect of sex, because if you are not willing to be vulnerable with other person, you will never be able to achieve pleasure, to achieve an actual pleasure, because an actual pleasure comes from the point of deep relaxation, of deep engagement, of deep openness. And how can you be open during this sensual moment when you think that my body could have been nicer, or my voice could have sounded more sensual, or oh my god, what he's gonna think about me, or oh, you know, actually this guy, he should have had like I don't know, let's say bigger muscles. Whatever, you know, like whatever thought there is, it will never allow you to go into this place of deep relaxation, of deep openness, and of deep indulgence, because you are not willing to be vulnerable. And sex is a very vulnerable phase. I mean, you're naked. There are so many fears that are associated with sex. We have so many different limiting beliefs that were literally given to us through generations, that sex is bad, sex is dirty, sex is this, sex is that, blah blah blah, sex is only to have kids, or sex is I don't know, on the other side, like sex can spoil you or whatever. I mean, like, I don't even want to go deep into this, but actually, if you want me to go deep into this, I can make another video on different kind of beliefs and programs that we have regarding the sex. But anyways, to summarize, all of this will never, I promise you, never give you this space in which you can experience true pleasure. It will not happen. So, to have a better sex, allow yourself to be vulnerable. Allow yourself to give love towards yourself and towards your partner. Because if you're trying to deserve love during sex, it will only leave you feeling empty and maybe depressed and lost and confused. So sex is not a place to deserve love. It's always within you. You just need to let yourself be open and see and feel and receive this love from yourself. And then you can share it. And then if you do this, if you let yourself feel this love, if you let yourself to let go of judgments, to not criticize yourself and your partner and people around you, to see them as beautiful and divine creatures, no matter what they are, then I promise you, sex in your life gonna be just mind-blowing, right? So try this, see how it goes, maybe do some self-reflection, and I will see you on my next video. I hope you found it useful, I hope you found it interesting, and let me know what you think. Mwah. And I wish everyone to have the most beautiful, mind-blowing, connecting, deep and healing sex, and many beautiful orgasms. Mwah.